Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us for our September masterclass, Three-Way Matching, the Pitfalls and the Pros. I'm Kat Moy, the Head of Education for the Accounts Payable Association, and I'd like to hand you over to my colleagues here from Simtrax. I'll allow them to introduce themselves.
Thank you, Kat, for the introduction. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's masterclass. My name is Mihir Verma, and I'm a solutions consultant at Simtrax UK. With 6 years of experience in SaaS and AI, I've had the privilege of helping companies along their digital transformation journeys. Joining me today is Janine Stapleton, our marketing associate and UK office manager.
Okay, brilliant. Just before we get started with the presentation, guys, obviously you can see our three faces, our beautiful faces at the top of the screen. If you'd like to make the screen bigger so you can see the presentation, if you just hover your mouse just kind of under where the panes of our cameras are, you can adjust your screen if you need to see the presentation in a bigger format. Okay.
Sorry, Kat, my microphone was on mute and wouldn't.
So I thought I would just jump in.
That's why I didn't say hello. So thanks for welcoming us, and thank you, Mihir, for introducing me. Hello to everybody watching the masterclass. I know quite a few of you that are attending. I can see who you are. So thanks for joining us. And as Mihir has already introduced me, I just want to say that Simtrax has 8 global offices, and today we are presenting from London, and that's where Mihir and I are permanently stationed. So we hope you find this masterclass insightful. Thanks so much, Kat. Thanks, Mihir.
Thank you, Janine. So those of you working in AP teams will know that the three-way matching process, that is comparing the purchase order, receipt of goods and services, and the invoice, is a critical aspect of financial management. It ensures accuracy, validates payments, and helps prevent errors and fraud. However, despite its importance, this process comes with its own set of challenges. And in today's masterclass, we'll be exploring the most common issues associated with the three-way matching process and discussing strategies to make this process even more efficient. So let's dive right in. Before we start, let me quickly take you through today's agenda. I'll begin by outlining the problem we're addressing and discussing some of the key challenges associated with the three-way matching process. Next, we'll explore best practices for AP managers to overcome these challenges and enhance the team performance. Following that, I'll explain the importance of embracing emerging technologies, particularly AI and machine learning, and why it's more crucial now than ever to integrate them into your current processes and accounting systems. Towards the end, I'll introduce Simtrax's proprietary solution, Compleo Invoice platform, designed specifically to streamline the process for busy AP teams. I'll also take you through a demo of the solution. After that, Janine will introduce Simtrax and share some of our other offerings. And finally, we'll wrap up the session with a Q&A segment to address any questions you might have. So I recently came across a report that really opened my eyes to the true cost of manual invoice processing in the UK. According to a research done by Gartner, the average cost of processing an invoice ranges from £4 to £25. But for more complex or error-prone invoices, this cost can skyrocket to even £50. These higher costs typically arise when manual intervention is needed to correct errors or manage expectations. And as an AP manager, I'm sure you've analyzed the cost of invoice processing in your respective organizations, but today I wanted to share a broader perspective. Most organizations focus primarily on direct costs, but it's also essential to factor in significant indirect costs to get a true picture of the financial burden. For instance, a fair cost assessment should at least include the fully loaded cost of all headcount involved in the AP process, whether they are full-time, part-time, or seasonal employees, the cost of all associated software, IT infrastructure, and other support costs specific to the AP function. AP teams may also incur unnecessary costs from late payments, missed early payment discounts, or fast payment fees to improve supplier terms. And lastly, inefficient processes, including three-way matching, can sometimes lead to delays, further increasing the costs. For example, when approvers have to step in to review and approve mismatched documents or resolve queries from suppliers, this places an additional burden on them and the respective departments, affecting the productivity across the organization. That's the reason it's a good practice to include all of these factors to get a clearer view of the true cost of invoice processing. Now I'd like to walk you through some of the common challenges that AP teams face, particularly when it comes to executing the three-way matching process. And while it's true that the invoicing process can present a wide range of challenges depending on the industry and the location, today I've highlighted a few key issues that consistently stand out and are shared across all sectors. One of the most frequent issues in three-way matching is data discrepancies between the PO, the goods receipt note, and the vendor invoice. Timing differences often contribute to this, such as when goods are received before purchase orders are updated or when price changes occur between order placement and invoicing. Other factors include partial shipments, substitution by vendors, mismatched units of measure, and unexpected shipping costs. These discrepancies create delays and inefficiencies that can significantly slow down the process. Delay in receiving the necessary documents can severely impact the accounts payable workflow. Vendors may not send invoices promptly, or goods receipts might not be logged in a timely manner, often due to staff shortages or competing priorities. In some cases, the purchase order may still be awaiting approval. If documents are processed manually or through disconnected systems, miscommunication between departments further compounds the issue. These delays result in missed early payment discounts and worse, late payment penalties. Manual data entry is inherently prone to human error. A simple typo, incorrect product description, or misplaced decimal can create significant discrepancies between documents. Investigating and resolving these errors consumes valuable time and resources, causing bottlenecks in the payment cycle. Errors at this stage lead to prolonged payment delays and undermine the efficiency of the AP process. Exceptions arise when the data on the purchase order, the goods receipt note, and the invoices don't align, requiring manual intervention. For example, incorrect quantities or pricing discrepancies trigger exceptions, often due to vendor errors. Non-PO invoices, those without a linked purchase order, also fall into this category as they require additional manual review and approval. These exceptions, as you'd understand, are time consuming to resolve, typically involving coordination across departments and manual corrections, which further delays processing. Discrepancies between documents can easily escalate into vendor disputes, leading to delayed payments and strained relationships. When payments are put on hold while issues are resolved, vendors may become frustrated, especially if they're unaware of the reasons for the delay. Repeated discrepancies can erode trust, causing vendors to reevaluate terms or even impose late fees. Poor communication around these delays can damage long-standing relationships, making it harder to maintain smooth operations with suppliers. Lack of real-time visibility is another major challenge, especially for AP managers using standalone IT systems. Without an integrated dashboard, it's difficult to track the status of invoices, whether they're approved, pending, or overdue. And this lack of transparency slows down the identification and resolution of discrepancies and creates bottlenecks in the workflow. Additionally, it hampers decision making, making it harder to manage cash flow or spot potential issues early. Clear communication between purchasing, receiving, and accounting departments is essential to a smooth three-way matching process. However, communication breakdowns are common, especially when processes are manual or siloed. A simple query or inconsistency can escalate into a larger issue when team members shift responsibility or delay action. This lack of coordination results in delayed approvals, inefficiencies, and missed payments, further complicating the overall process. A recent IFOL study revealed that 55% of finance teams wouldn't be able to detect invoice fraud immediately. The manual handling of documents increases vulnerability to fraud, especially when fraudulent invoices appear legitimate. Invoice, vendor, and employee fraud have all been on the rise, leading to significant financial losses, reputational damage, and potential legal consequences. AP teams need robust systems in place to detect and prevent fraud early in the process. In conclusion, many of you may have encountered some of the challenges I've outlined in your own three-way matching process. And moving forward, I'll break down how we can effectively address each of these core challenges. Now it's time for a quick poll now. Over to you, Kat.
Okay. So we're going to do a quick poll. So what is the biggest challenge you encounter during the three-way matching process? So we have discrepancies in data, handling exceptions, vendor disputes, communication with other departments, or all of the above. So I'll give you guys a minute or two to vote there. I can sort of see votes are coming in. Give you guys another minute. Yes.
I was just wondering, you know, in your experience, what was your biggest three-way matching challenge and how did you overcome it?
So the biggest challenge for me, so I'm just going to pick on my last role, was probably the discrepancies in the data. We basically had a system that didn't give us any data, so we had to very much manual. It's going to end up being all of the above by the time I finish this answer. We ended up having to collate all of our data manually in spreadsheets. I was very fortunate to have someone who could make me a nice Power BI dashboard for the price of a bottle of gin. So once she did that for me, and then I kind of had that real-time information, which meant I could make more strategic decisions, and it made us a more strategic department as a whole. But other than that, because I wouldn't be the head of education if I didn't say this, it's also about the education to your stakeholders and the business, and your education to suppliers of what they need to provide. Because as we've said on many webinars, like AP are very much dependent on other departments and other functions playing a part in their end-to-end. So yeah, I've probably just picked all of the above when I've said that. Yeah, I'm going to close the poll. No worries, and share the results. So there you go. We've got discrepancies in data, 20%, handling exceptions, 5%, vendor disputes, 0%, and communication with the departments, 15%, and all of the above, 60%.
Okay. It's quite high, all of the above. Yeah.
Like I say, with AP, whether it's AP or P2P, you're sort of impacted by every other department. When you here touched on working in silos, that's kind of it. And again, we've talked about that a lot this year in content, about that siloed approach and people not knowing the end-to-end and what their impact is.
Okay. All right, Mihir, we're going to carry on rolling. Thanks for doing that poll, Kat.
No problem.
Okay, so we're going to move on now. Because we've covered some of the core challenges, let's explore the best practices for overcoming these issues in three-way matching process. We'll also discuss why adopting a technology solution is more crucial than ever in today's environment and highlight its key benefits to your AP teams. So Mihir played the bad cop with all the core challenges, and I will play the good cop and try and speak about best practices and what an automated AP solution can do for you. Okay, so wow, on to the best practices for overcoming core challenges. You see, I am the good cop. So the first step is understanding the importance of modern technologies. Your goal should be to minimize repetitive tasks, allowing technology to handle them efficiently. However, it's essential to draw a clear line between what tasks you want to automate and what tasks should remain under your team's control. That's actually very important, because we often get people that go, just automate everything. And when they have a look at what is automated and what steps are pertinent for them to still have control over, then they kind of go back and will then customize everything else. Okay, so the next one is many organizations still rely on outdated OCR systems to extract invoice data. These systems often deliver incomplete or inaccurate data and may struggle to read different document formats. Today's AI and machine learning powered solutions can extract data from any file format or template within seconds, saving valuable time. It's equally important for an AP solution to incorporate intelligent decision-making algorithms. So look for a solution that incorporates all these modern technologies. So onto legacy ERP systems. So many companies still use legacy ERP systems that may not integrate easily with new AP solutions. It's important to assess whether your ERP has APIs to support integration. If not, it may be worth considering an upgrade or finding an AP solution provider that offers alternate integration approaches. It's crucial to ensure that your suppliers' workflows remain unchanged. The way your suppliers send invoices to you, whether that be via email, a post, a portal, or a shared folder, this should not be disrupted. So let them work the way that they normally do. A smart AP system will seamlessly integrate into your existing processes. With global suppliers, you'll often receive invoices in different languages and currencies. It's essential that your chosen AP solution can accurately read and process these invoices, converting data as needed without introducing errors. A mistake at this stage would lead to significant payment issues, so it's important that your solution supports global operations. And then finally, choose a solution that's scalable, easy to use, and flexible enough to adapt to your current workflows. We've worked with accountants and AP teams and found that the best solutions blend technology with human expertise. And it empowers teams to work more efficiently. At the end of the day, it really is up to you to decide which aspects to automate and which require human oversight. Okay, so let's move on now. That we've covered the basics, let's explore the key benefits of implementing an automated AP invoice processing solution. One of the core benefits of an automated AP solution is improved accuracy. Manual data entry is prone to human error, leading to discrepancies and delays. Automation minimizes these errors by ensuring that your PO, invoice, and your goods received note consistently match. The result is a more accurate, streamlined process that saves time and resources. Okay, so what are the efficiency gains? This is another advantage that you should look at. Automation helps to instantly match documents, allowing your staff to focus on higher value tasks, such as query management and financial analysis, ultimately helping them become more strategic leaders, which is exactly what you were talking about in your answer, Kat. So in terms of cost savings, automation delivers substantial benefits by reducing manual labor and increasing the rate at which your invoices are processed. This directly translates into lower operational costs. Furthermore, automation helps ensure timely payments, avoiding penalties and missed early payment discounts that could otherwise affect your bottom line. Okay, fraud prevention. This is a big one in the AP community. We know that the subject's often spoken about. So this is another crucial area where automation excels. The system that you should choose should verify each invoice that, and make sure that it's legitimate by checking the invoice data against the supplier master data held in your ERP or in some of your other AP systems. This will ensure that the invoice information is accurate and prevent the processing of a fraudulent invoice. Furthermore, it matches the invoice data against the corresponding PO and GRN. Okay. So with automation, you will also gain real-time visibility and control over your processes. Automated systems offer dashboards and reporting tools, as Mihir referenced to earlier, and these allow real-time monitoring of invoice statuses and payments, ensuring you have a single view of what's happening. Additionally, automated solutions should include a comprehensive audit trail of all transactions, which make audits smoother and help ensure regulatory compliance. Finally, automation not only strengthens supplier relationships, but it also enhances internal collaboration. We've touched on this before as well, Kat, haven't we? So automation really helps to build trust and foster smoother interactions with your suppliers by ensuring timely and accurate payments, reducing the risks of disputes. Internally, automated systems streamline communication between departments, ensuring alignment between AP teams, procurement, and other key stakeholders. So overall, this leads to a more favorable supplier terms and a more cohesive and positive internal and external working environment. So there we go. We hope we've given you some insight on that. Yes, we're going to go to another poll. So please, Kat, could you
there we go.
start that off?
By magic. So what is the current level of automation in your organization's three-way matching process? Are you fully manual, partially automated, or fully automated? Interesting. Give everyone another minute. Yeah.
Yeah, I spoke a lot about technology and automation and how these can help overcome three-way matching, the pitfalls, I should say, the three-way matching pitfalls. Are there any non-technical best practices that you could recommend to the audience? Because you should be the guru on this one.
I should be. To be honest, just rigor and discipline, that's all. When it comes to manual, there's not a lot of best practice you can push other than, you know, sort of auditing yourself, getting someone to, like, it's a bit like going back to school and saying, check your work, really. I'm sort of going to share the results now, but this is kind of what I would have thought the results would be, which is, bring it to a close. Yeah, so we've got 16% of fully manual, no automation, 76, which was partially automated, which is what I thought the majority would be, and then 8% are fully automated. I think a big part of that automation piece, again, something we've talked about a lot, is AP often on at the table when the automation conversation is had. When it's usually, you know, the finance senior finance team, and sometimes AP just don't get that part, and we kind of just get left with, that's a solution, make it work for you.
Yeah, that's what that's what they've chosen.
Yeah,
and you kind of have to go with it.
Yeah, so again, part of what we do is try to get, you know, AP that seat at the table and get sort of that C-suite level to start appreciating that we need to be involved in the process.
Okay. Interesting. I'd like to know what's partially automated, but I suppose I'll have to speak to
again, that's a little bit like,
there. Yeah.
It's a bit like, it depends what technology you've already got. So again, even in my last role, we had, I probably shouldn't say this, but we built our PO system in Microsoft Form, and that did have a delegation of authority in the background. So the workflow went through that without us having to touch it. So that side was automated. But for us in AP, we still had to input the invoice and match it to the PO within our system because they didn't talk to each other.
Okay, yeah, I hear you.
PO system didn't talk to the invoice processing.
And I suppose when people talk about partially automated, it depends on their processes and protocols and, you know, how their company works. So
exactly.
Yeah, I suppose I would have to go through and talk to all our attendees there.
And as you touched on yourselves before, you've got exceptions. So I've obviously brought up POs as an example. If you've got exceptions, sometimes that has to be handled in more of a manual way than the automated way.
Okay.
Depending on where you work.
Okay, so.
Thank you so much, Janine and Kat, for the poll and the results. Now that we've discussed the challenges of the manual processes and the benefits of the automation, let me introduce you to the Compleo Invoice Platform, or CIP. CIP is an advanced AI machine learning powered solution specifically designed to enhance the productivity of your AP department. And with CIP, you can automate all the time consuming tasks like three-way matching very efficiently, ensuring accuracy, speed, and control over your overall processes. The Compleo Invoice platform is a versatile ERP agnostic solution available as a SaaS platform. And whether you're using SAP B1, S4HANA, Microsoft Dynamics, Oracle, or IBM, CIP seamlessly integrates without any redundancy. And here's how it works. Your business is likely to receive supplier invoices via post, email, e-invoicing portals, or shared common folders. CIP captures and extracts data from these invoices, uses AI to verify vendor details against your master records, and immediately flags if there are any discrepancies. CIP also breaks down departmental silos by enabling collaboration across teams. It allows for the verification of details such as GRN and detects if there are any anomalies in supplier invoices, making the three-way matching more efficient, especially for companies processing high volume of invoices. The extracted data is then synchronized with your ERP system, providing real-time updates on invoice payment status. And additionally, CIP also ensures secure archiving of supply documents, making compliance and future retrieval simple and reliable. Now that now that I've spoken about Complete Invoice platform, let's jump into the demonstration of the solution integrated with SAP B1 in this case. This will provide you with a first-hand look at how the features we've discussed come together in action, showing you how efficiently the platform manages the entire process. I've broken down our solution demo into 3 parts for clarity. Let's start with the first part where I'll walk you through the journey of an invoice from the moment it's issued by the supplier to when it sits within the Complete Invoice platform. So right now I'm playing the role of a supplier who has basically prepared the invoice and is ready to send this to the buying organization. So as you can see, I have an email description, and I've also attached an invoice to this email. The invoice basically has two pages. The first page has all the terms, all the invoice details, and the second page has the terms and conditions associated with the invoice. And when I click on the send button, the invoice basically gets sent to the buyer inbox that's configured with the Compleo invoice platform. And now I play the role of an accountant, AP accountant from the buyer organization. So there are multiple ways that you can basically configure CIP in your organization. We also offer multi-factor authentication and single sign-on functionalities, basis which you can also enable Microsoft and Google sign-in functionalities. Right now, I've just entered my credentials and I'm going to click on the sign-in button. When I do that, I should be able to see a very intuitive, a very user-friendly dashboard with all the supplier invoice details. And when I click on the mail entries section, this is the page, this is the section where I can basically refer all the new invoices that have been sent by different suppliers of mine. And as you can see, the very first line item, the step says need review, and the different filters that are made available to you can be seen on the screen. When I click on the view button, I can see the email description on the left-hand side. I can also see the invoice, the 2 pages on the right-hand side of the screen. And the software, although has directly selected my name as the default accountant, but I can obviously change this. I know that this invoice has 2 pages, so I'll basically select this as mixed content, and I'll only consider the first page for the further purposes. And I can basically use this accountant functionality to delegate to any other colleagues of mine if that's a requirement. Using the forward to option, if in case the invoice has been mistakenly sent to a sister company of yours or any subsidiary, you can always use this option to send it or basically forward it to the right team members. So that's also something we can configure in your current process. In this case, I'll just click on the apply button. And as soon as I do that, what happens next is we basically work in conjunction with Microsoft Azure Form Recognizer, and this basically helps us extract all the relevant fields, all the different parameters that are present on that invoice, and I would be able to now see the different details that were present on the invoice. As you can see, the details are already made available to you. I can see the vendor details, the invoice number, whether the invoice was PO based, the due date, the invoice date, all the different details are now live. When I click on the invoice, I click on the view button. I can see the invoice on one side, and I can also see the details that have been extracted from the invoice on the right hand side. So in the customer invoice information section, I can see the name, the address, and the postcode have been correctly verified. In the vendor information is something that has been picked up from the default ERP, which is SAP B1 in this case. You can see that there's all the different details, and deliberately I have made errors in the invoice. As you can see, the last 2 digits of the IBAN is 77, whereas in the SAP vendor vendor master it's 70. So in all these scenarios, if you wish to basically put a standstill on the process, we can do that. So an AP accountant would not be able to move forward in cases where there is a severe discrepancy. So all of those changes, all of those configurations can be made available to you. In this case, the invoice is with a PO, so that's something the software has already picked up. The total amount, the total tax, and all the different fields are also made available to you. What I'm trying to now do is basically verify the information with regards to the purchase order tagged to this invoice, and I can now see that the purchase order details are available, and what's there on the invoice vis-a-vis what's there on the line on the purchase order is now made available to me. And this is something that has been fetched real time from SAP B1. So this is a purchase order against this invoice. If I proceed with the matching process, I can see the label, the item description. I can see the billable quantity, the billable amount, the tax code, the PO quantity. What's missing in this case is the delivered quantity. I can see that the PO quantity and the billable quantity are in sync, but delivered quantity is something that's not made available to me right now. So as next steps, what I'll do is I'll basically create a goods receipt note, for which before that I need to basically check with someone from my team. Janine will basically come to the rescue, and she will basically assist me if the invoice has all the correct details. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to create a receipt. I'm going to create a receipt request. I'm going to select the user. In this case, I'm just going to write a small message to Janine asking if she could basically approve the invoice. And I'd like to especially highlight in this case that it's not really necessary that it's only the AP accountants that need to be registered on this platform. It could be anybody within your organization that can access the requests sent by the AP teams, provided they're registered on the platform. So that's something which actually gives you flexibility, that actually gives you transparency in the overall process. So now the request has been sent over to you, Janine.
Okay, so I'm going to see it pop up via email. This is just to give me the notification of the request that's come through. Let me have a look. Okay, there, Mihir Verma has sent me a receipt creation request. I will click on the link. It will take me through to Complia Invoice platform. There we go. There's my credentials buyer. Sorry, I've come back out just to show you that I have my own sign-in if needed. Okay, so let's go to my requests. I want to display the invoice because he's asked me. I already know he's asked me to verify this invoice. Have a quick check. I can open up his active request, but it's important to know that I logged into this, but you don't need to be logged into the system to be able to receive the request and to view it. I could just click on the link and it would take me straight through. So I'm going to answer because he wants me to verify the details. Yes, please go ahead, so that he can create that goods received note. Okay, so I'm going to close that. Everything seems in order. Okay, sorry, let me just close again. Right.
Thank you so much, Jenny. Yeah.
Pleasure.
I would now like to see the details and also the verification that has been processed by Janine. And if I go back and check the invoice, so I can see that the verification request has been processed. I can now go ahead and create a goods receipt note against this order. Now that we've looked at the two-way invoice matching, let's move on to the next steps. We're going to see how a GRN is created and how we carry out specific tasks in SAP B1. You'll also see how these actions are immediately reflected on the Complia invoice platform on a real-time basis.
Sorry, Mihir, I've got a question.
Yeah.
So does that mean that you can send any request or communication to anybody within the organization, whoever is registered on the platform? It doesn't just have to be a buyer.
That's correct, Janine. And the request can be sent to anybody. So there could be someone from the procurement team or from the marketing team. from whom the API accountant needs clarity on any given invoice.
Yeah.
So they can directly write to them, and yeah.
Okay, so like myself, marketing, I've gone and you know, ordered some supplies for an event, and then, you know, before it gets paid, the AP team would come to me and say, have you received everything? Are you happy? Can we go ahead and can you just approve this, that you've received it, and then go ahead and make payment? Is that what
That's
you're saying
correct.
on that one?
That's
Okay.
correct.
Okay, great. Thanks.
So now what I'm going to do next is create a goods receipt note for this purchase order. So for which I'm going to go on SAP B1. So as I mentioned earlier, we've configured the platform with the default ERP in this case, which is SAP B1, but it could be any ERP as we are an ERP agnostic solution. So in this case, I've just gone ahead and created a goods receipt note. And what's important to note here is how the details get populated on a real-time basis without any delays. So yes, the GRN has been successfully created on the SAP B1 ERP. If I go ahead and look for the details on the Complete Invoice platform, I should be able to see the delivered quantity as well now. So it's as simple as this. And if I proceed with the next steps, I can see that there's billable quantity, there's PO quantity, and there's the delivered quantity as well. So the objective from the very beginning was to understand how easy it is to perform three-way matching using an automated solution. And that's what I'd like to reflect, and I'd want to emphasize upon. All the details are matching, everything is in place, and I can successfully conclude that the three-way matching is complete at this stage. I would also want to show you some other functionalities at this stage from the tool. There is an attachment section wherein you can basically upload any kind of different documents. There is an event section as well, where whenever you basically seek assistance from your appliance regarding an invoice, it's beneficial for them to have access to each invoice's touch points within the platform. And the detailed audit trail in CIP allows them to see who has worked on each invoice and when. This feature ensures that you have always know who to approach in case there are any issues. As next steps, what I'd also like to show you is an invoice that's without a purchase order. So I've already pre-configured an invoice without linked to a purchase order. So as you can see, the second line item, there's no PO attached to this invoice, and when I click on the view button, I should be able to see very similar to what it was in the first case, invoice on the left hand side and all the details that have been extracted from the invoice on the right hand side. And as you can see, the details have been populated. The general ledger account is also taken into account basis my previous activity, my previous history. And if you wish to change this to some other tax code, or if you wish to assign another account number, that's also something you can do by selecting the options from the drop down. So it's as easy as this when comparing or basically processing the invoices that are not linked to a purchase order. As the final step, what I need to do is I'll click on the integrate invoice button. When I do this, what happens is the invoice details basically gets synced to the SAP B1 ERP, and I should be able to see an internal ERP invoice number. So I'm going to do this for both the invoices. So I've done that for both the invoices, and as you can see, the status change is happening from verification to integrating, and in a few seconds time, this should change from integrating to integrated. This is already done for both the invoices. And now what I'll do is I'll go back to the ERP SAP B1, and I now need to check and verify the if the internal ERP invoice number is created, just to be sure. Let me just quickly remove all the filters. Okay, I wish to check what was the number assigned to this invoice. Okay, it's 1403. That's it. It's 1403. I can confirm that it's made available on the platform. And now I'll just go ahead and process the payment for the invoice. So I'll just go and look for the vendor. In this case, it's Dreamcast Limited. And I'll also select the correct invoice for which the invoice needs to be processed, the payment needs to be processed. Okay, it was 1403, the document number. I'll just quickly go and enter the amount, which is 1260 pounds. And as the last step, I'll just click on the add and view button. So as soon as I do that, perform this operation, the payment is processed, and I should be able to see a status change on the Comply Invoice platform as well. So earlier the status was parked. That means all the processes have been completed except the payment. And now it's, as you can see, it has been changed to paid. So this basically marks the completion of the demo. And also once the payment is processed, you should be able to see all the paid invoices in the classified invoices section. So as you can see, all the details are available. And yes, let's move on to the next steps. In the final step, we'll delve into the invoice management features, focusing on filtering and archiving and how they serve the various teams within an organization. So I'd like to show you a very important functionality of the tool. I was speaking with Janine on this, and this is basically the section wherein I can add different users from my organization. Now this could be a user with limited access rights, or this could be a user that has an access to view everything, right? So I can enter the name, the email, and what role I wish to assign this user, and which structure does he belong to, the language, and all the different configurations. So all of this can be made available to the person from this section, and this can be accessed by the admin of your Comply Invoice platform. I also want to show you the filtering functionality of the solution. And basically there are two main benefits of the platform's different filters. First, they allow AP team members to easily review their work and also identify which invoices need follow-up or assistance. And second, they give the C-suite a clear bird's eye view of the critical invoice data, helping them make more informed decisions. So in this case, I've just selected an accountant from my team, Nicholas Philip, and I would like to see all the invoices that have been processed, but the payment has not been made. So I'll just click on the parked as integration status option. And finally, I would also select a due date. So I'm interested in taking a look at invoices that have been processed from a certain date range. And then I'd basically want to click on the filter button. And when I do that, I can see that there are 11 such invoices for a certain date range belonging to an accountant of mine. I also have this option to exporting these invoices in an XLSX format. And if at any point of time you or any of your team members want to work offline, you can always use the Excel functionality to download certain reports from the tool and make use of it. For many businesses, it's also crucial to access all their supplier invoices in a single tool, regardless of the invoice's origin. And CIP can be integrated with Complio Archiver, a very easy to use cloud-based solution that where invoices are stored in a secured environment, making them readily available for compliance purposes in the future. So you can see there are different options made available to you, different filters made available to you, basis which you can find the invoices. I've just selected the archiving date as the 30th of August, and I can see that this is basically the invoice that we just processed and finished working on. And I can also visit and check the terms and conditions page, or the document basically which we processed while performing the three-way matching. I can also look at the invoice report, the detailed communication that has happened between
Yes,
different people within the organization.
the one where between you and I, here as
That's
well.
correct.
Okay, I can see, and all the events, each touch point there.
That's correct. And you also get access to the audit trail, the touch points that I earlier mentioned about, if you'd like to see at any point of time in the future. So that's all I'd like to talk about from a demo perspective. Over to you, Janine.
Well, thank you so much, Mihir. That was quite comprehensive, even though I know that there's so many more features, but we would be here for a lot longer. So, yeah, just reach out to Mihir. He'll give you his details later on if you'd like to see more or have a little bit, you know, a more customized demo. Okay, so let me tell you a little bit more about Simtrax, who we are, who's talking to you today. So for over 30 years, Simtrax has helped craft, tailor, and seamlessly integrate software solutions and cloud-based automated document workflows. We have worked with over 3,500 customers across various countries and industries. Simtrax has 8 global offices, and due to their strategic positioning, we can provide 24-hour support to our customers. On average, we have 12 years of customer loyalty. And it's important to note that although Simtrax is system agnostic, we have technology partners with SAP, Microsoft, and IBM. So what do we do? And what is our expertise? So we offer a digital business platform that seamlessly connects with your existing systems, so you don't have to change the way you work, but we just help you to enhance it. And the 4 categories we specialize in are, number 1, enterprise e-invoicing. With one solution, your AP and AR departments can monitor and manage e-invoicing in real time. So Mihir today is showing you on the AP side, but not the AR side, which we can do as well, e-invoicing from the AR side within the Complia Invoice platform. We also have signature solutions, so you can customize and automate approvals, digital and electronic signature workflows for your entire enterprise. EDI-ready process automation, so you can experience secure data exchanges between trading partners with API. And digital data and document transformation. You can enhance and automate your business processes. Okay, so thanks for that. Thank you, Mihir. Oh, there you go. There's your contact details, Mihir.
Thank you so much, Janine. Before we proceed to the Q&A session, as you said, here are my contact details, and please feel free to reach out if you have any questions or if you're interested in learning about what we offer. I'll be more than happy to discuss your needs and set up a tailored demo, as Janine mentioned earlier, for you and your team. Okay, finally, it's time to drop in with any questions you may have regarding the demo or the presentation, and we'd be more than happy to answer them for you.
So just having a look at that, sorry, the dashboard and what's come in. Kat, earlier I saw somebody's hand was raised, but I don't know if you can access that.
I had a look, it's gone away now. If that person, if you can just pop what you wanted to ask in the questions, we'll come to it.
Okay, so I do see there are a few questions at the moment. Okay, Mihir, there's one here. Can I ask you to answer this?
Yes, please,
what is the average implementation time for your platform?
Okay. Regarding the implementation time, so as you know by now, CIP or Complia Invoice platform is a SaaS tool, a software as a service tool that's ready to deploy immediately without the need for any kind of AI training of invoices. And our platform includes ready-to-use connectors for SAP, for Microsoft Dynamics, for Oracle, all the leading ERPs, which basically eliminates the need for extensive development efforts. And the API calls and protocols are already, these are something that's already pre-integrated with the Complia Invoice platform. So what we need to do is simply configure the interface and parameters to match your specific ERP requirements during the setup process. So in a nutshell, if I have to answer your question, probably around 7 to 10 days.
Okay, there's another question. Is it possible to configure hard stops in the event of a discrepancy within the system
Yeah.
or during the processing? Okay, so do you want to answer
Do
that?
you wanna, yeah, that's what I said.
Okay.
Do you want to answer this? Yeah.
Okay, so the short answer is yes, you can. You can configure the hard stops within Complete Invoice platform depending on the nature of the discrepancy, and you get to decide that. So for example, we might set up a workflow to alert the user of the details such as the postcode or the address mismatches, and allow to, for the rest of the processing to continue if that's what you want to do. But if the discrepancy involves something a little bit more crucial, like bank information, the bank account details, let's say they're not matching with what's in your vendor master data, then we can configure the workflow to halt the process. And that will just help with fraud, and then to ensure that there's no sort of incorrect or erroneous payments made.
Yeah, that's correct. And just to add to what you just said, Janine, if your process requires approvals, email approvals, or verifications in the form of signatures, for instance, to approve an invoice above a certain threshold, or in case there are any discrepancies, that can also be replicated in the new workflow using the Complete Invoice platform. And this would basically ensure that your approval remains intact. It's basically compliant with your internal controls, and there's no much disruption from what you have currently in your existing setup. So it remains the same for you and your team as well.
Okay.
And I think there's one more question, Janine.
Yeah.
Do you charge per user license? I think we've already addressed this, but I can maybe reiterate. We don't charge based on the number of users. You can have as many number of users as you'd like on the platform, and it's the administrator that has the ability to add or remove users, and that's something which is not directly related to our pricing. And this is basically the flexibility that we've tried to include in the solution, which allows your team to collaborate easily across departments. Like I said, for example, if an AP accountant wants to reach out to someone in marketing or in any other department, they can directly do it using the platform rather than using email channel or MS Teams or Slack for some reason.
And then everything is archived.
That's correct.
So you can go back and say, but you told me to go ahead and pay this.
You get access to a detailed audit trail, so everything is secured and compliant.
Okay, great. Kat, can you see any more questions?
Yeah, so someone's dropped in the question box. It's quite a long one, but I'm going to try and break it up. So
okay.
The key issue they're facing is getting people to action GRNs. Yep, been there. This is a huge issue in processing invoices, that there seems to be a lack of leadership/ownership. Sorry, another question came in as I was reading that one. So the person's asking, what tools have people used to improve this? Do you have business buy-in from the top, and do you allow suppliers to chase buyers' requests? So I'll probably take this one if you don't mind. So the main tool you've got is a robust escalation policy. In my experience, yes, in businesses I've been in, I've had buy-in from the C-suite, if that's what you want to call. It didn't come overnight. You had to build it, and the way I did it was I created a drumbeat of information. So again, it's having that clean data, that real-time data, to start building that like case, if you will, that hey, we've got all of this backlog, and especially if you can pinpoint it to it's sitting in this department or this person. And again, if you've got that escalation policy, it makes those leaders, owners responsible. It links them into it. Again, as I'm the head of education, I will say it all comes down to education when people are coming into a business. If they have any access to money in budget form, it should be mandatory training for them that they sit with AP and learn what their roles and responsibilities are. Again, that doesn't come overnight. That's building that relationship with your C-suite, because in businesses I've been in, I've actually gotten it written into people's objectives. and it's kind of impacted bonuses, aka if you do not goods receipt over 70% of your POs in time, it might affect your bonus at the end of the year. So I was really popular where I was. And in terms of the last part, do you allow a supplier to chase buyers or requisitioners? I personally would say no. I would never give out anyone in my business's information. If the supplier already has it and wants to chase them, that's up to them. But for me, I'm a paid resource. That's the way I look at accounts payable. Our job, like it or not, is to field that and protect the business, because it could be a lack of education. In my last business, a guy came in, we were a tyre business, and we were chasing and chasing. We're saying we've got nearly £1 million worth of tyres not booked in. He'd literally started a month before and no one had trained him how to book anything in. They'd just shown him the tyre part of his job and not the finance part of his job.
Oh, so it wasn't really his fault.
Not really. And we in AP were the ones who drove him getting proper training. Until the day I left, certainly, he would bring that up all of the time. And we trotted him out to kind of be like the standard of like, that's what it is. That's who all the other depots should aspire to be.
Okay. I'm surprised you could read that question. I was trying to read it myself and the panel just keeps moving. That was quite a lengthy question. Okay.
Yeah. So I thought I'd best take that one because I've got examples for days of people in our GRN and things and what I've done to make it happen. So yeah, I wasn't known as cutthroat cat for nothing in my previous life. But that's it in terms of the questions from the field.
Okay, yeah, I don't see any more coming through. Do you want to just give it 1 or 2 more minutes to see if there's any?
Yeah, we can have another minute or two, but
questions coming in there.
But yeah, I think it's been a really fantastic session. All in all, I think three-way matching. You know, there's way more to explore with it. And again, how do you get AP that seat at the table and systems like yours and demonstrations like this really kind of are pivotal for that. So thank you both very much.
Thanks, Kat.
Thank you so much, Kat, for the opportunity.
For having us. Yeah, I think, you know, we know from the solution side, from the technology side, automation and about tools out there that can be used to overcome the three-way matching pitfalls, if you will. But I really thank you for bringing your expertise and giving us the other side of, you know, the non-technical
yeah. If people saw the prep of this, I am not the most technical person in the world.
But yeah, we could have, you know, we had a lot more slides in there as well, but you know, we just thought, how much can people digest during this time? And you know, we might have to come back and do another session, and I'm sure there's a lot more that you can put into it, Kat, as well.
Well, also, I don't think I'm incorrect in saying we'll see you at conference in less than 4 weeks.
Yes, we will. So
anyone on the call who wants to pop over and see SimTrax on their stand, please do so. There's plenty of networking opportunities throughout the day, so please swing by the SimTrax stand.
Yeah, we'd love to see you all. Put some faces to the names that keep coming up.
Exactly. So I think that's it. Well, thank you again, Janine, and thank you again, Mahia.
Thank you so much, Kat.
And thanks to everybody who joined.
Have a great day, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.